One of our most frequently asked questions that we get all the time on social media is, how do we live in 400 square feet and what does the inside of our cabin look like? So we wanted to take you guys inside to show you our setup. Olivia, stay. Good girl. Hi guys, welcome to our cabin tour. Immediately when you come inside, the first thing that you're going to see is essentially our mud room. So this is where we kick off our dirty boots, whether they're wet from the snow or mud. This is where Olivia comes inside to hang out and where she sleeps each night. And of course, when we hang up our jackets and things like that. Essentially the cabin is all one big room, but we like to make believe that we have different sections within the cabin.
So stepping out of the mudroom, we come into what we call our living area, I guess. Got a little bookcase. We found some old barn wood, and I built this bookcase in the style of an 1800s plan that I found online. It's nothing special. You can see the wood, but the wood's really pretty. Have a few herbs growing up here. Hard to keep them alive in the winter sometimes, but so far so good. Some of them, maybe they'll come back in the spring, the ones that aren't doing so well right now. And then our TV. We don't have TV service, but we watch movies. We have Netflix, so we use the internet and watch things online occasionally. We don't watch a whole lot of TV. And then over here, kind of the sitting area, this is where we eat. We'll sit down to eat on the trunk and sometimes watch TV, but just kind of an area to kind of hang out, and a rocking chair so we can rock the baby. Of course, you got to have one of those.
So our cabin is actually an Amish built cabin. We had it done locally and then delivered here. It's a 14 by 28, so it's the biggest that could be delivered before building on site. And so we were able to do a lot of things like placing the windows in certain spots, and we knew that this kind of area of the cabin was going to be more of our living space / bedroom area, and so we wanted a lot of natural light here. When we did get the cabin delivered, it was just a shell of a cabin, and so we actually had to place all of the insulation and work on putting up walls and things like that. And so we're currently doing a faux shiplap look, and so there will be a video coming up that just shows you how we're currently doing this. So I hope you guys tune in for that. So when you step out of the living area, you're basically stepping into our big walk-in closet, as we like to say. So we've got some things hanging up. It's kind of a storage corner, a little catch-all corner. We try to keep it as organized as possible, but this is the corner that basically resembles our big lounge chair that collects all the laundry and things like that in normal homes. So like I said, a lot of clothing, a lot of storage here, and it basically ties into our nursery area. So we've got all of Emery's stuff basically in this one little wash stand underneath her changing table here, and this is her little activity chair that we'll pull out sometimes whenever she needs a little bit of entertainment. From this side of the nursery, you come to basically the other side of the nursery where she sleeps. And so this is her little Moses basket bassinet, and she sleeps in there every night. So if this is where Emery's sleeping, you know that this is where I'm sleeping. So welcome to our bedroom. We do have a king-size sleep number bed, and we do without a lot of modern amenities, but I would say that the king-size bed is a must. It's a non-negotiable. We basically consider it a necessity.
So back behind our living area is what we call our project room. This table usually isn't in here. We brought it in from outside to start seeds. I recently did a seed starting video about how we do that. But the table, when it's outside in the warmer weather, we use it to cook on. So we have a stove that we set up out there to cook on. Underneath This area is where we've recently gotten 12 baby chicks. So let's take a look at them. So the brooder box is basically a cardboard box. Not much to it. It's very simple and easy to do. I think we'll probably do a video on how to set up a simple brooder box for raising baby chicks. We've never raised baby chicks before. It's so easy. Anyone can do it. There's just a few things you have to kind of pay close attention to, but it's a pretty simple process, and with a little direction, you can do it easily. Be very successful at it.
So coming out of the little project area, you essentially walk into our bathroom. So we've got our bathtub here, which is just a stock tank that we got from Tractor Supply. It holds a lot of nice hot water, which was something that was really important to me because I like to be able to kind of dip my whole body down into the water whenever I'm taking a bath. And it actually holds the heat really well too. We do have a shower conversion that we can use, and so we've basically rigged up a spot where we can do a shower as well, but more often than not you can find us taking a bath instead of a shower in here. It is raised off of the floor, and that is because the catch or the trap for the tub drain is going to be inside the cabin where it's nice and warm and doesn't really have a chance to freeze during the winter and become blocked. Sitting next to the bathtub, we've actually got our composting toilet here. So Eddie built this setup, and essentially it's just a 5-gallon bucket inside here. We go to the bathroom in it and then just use a handful of shavings to sprinkle on top to help eliminate any odor and to help start the composting process. Now, when people come to visit us, this is their biggest concern, or they're just not sure how it's going to work out. But hands down, when they leave, they always say that it's not as big of a deal as they thought it was going to be. It's essentially just like going to the bathroom in your own house, except you don't have to flush. And not only are the walls a work in progress, but the floor is a work in progress as well.
So still part of the bathroom, but kind of my area. This is our on-demand hot water heater. It does run on propane. We have 2 propane tanks outside, but I just haven't gotten around to connecting them to come inside. Then we'll get rid of this eventually. But it is amazing. It runs on a D-cell battery, so there's no power, no electricity required at all. And it will get the water up to about 140 degrees if you let it. That's a little too hot for me. But anyway, this has been a great addition and one of the luxuries that we have. And then the propane tank is sitting actually on our battery bank that the batteries are charged from our solar panels. And then this is our inverter, and then this is our internet connection. So all of that is kind of all in one area. This is the charge controller that kind of tells the batteries and the solar panels what to do and makes everything kind of work together, ties it all together. So most people that have a well, their pressure tank is usually in some kind of storage building. So this is kind of a partial storage building. You can see this is where we kind of keep a bunch of stuff, junk if you want to call it. But this is our pressure tank. It's really small. We don't use a lot of water, and when we kind of plan around when we use water so that we don't have our pump starting and stopping a lot, because that will that's what usually kills a well pump. But I kind of plumbed it all myself. There's still some issues that need to be worked out, but so far so good. It's serving our purpose extremely well, and hopefully this summer we'll get everything kind of squared away, eventually close this in and use everything above it for storage.
So after you come out of the bathroom area and the semi-storage area, you're going to come to our wood stove. And so right now we've actually got a Baker's Choice in here, which has been serving us so well because it's very efficient. It's a newer stove, but it's just perfect for not being too big or too small for this space, and it is perfect for cooking and baking, which is something that I do a lot around here. Last winter we had an old Glenwood C stove. It was almost 100 years old, and it wasn't very efficient for heating, and it was a little difficult to regulate temperatures for cooking as well. We've actually moved that one outside to be used in a summer kitchen at some point, and so this one has just been such a great addition to our cabin. So another great example of how much more efficient this stove is than our previous stove is that we've used about half of the wood that we used last year to heat our cabin, and because this is such an efficient stove, it actually is made to heat about 1,200 square feet. So you can imagine that we have to keep it damped down pretty low, otherwise it would just burn us out of here.
So welcome to the kitchen. Francesca spends a lot more time in here than I do, thank goodness. But I did design the space, built the countertops and the kind of cabinets underneath. Her idea was the curtains, which she'll show you in a second. But and I did install the sink and plumbed hot and cold water over here. So it's very functional for what we use it for.
So like Eddie was saying, I do need a lot of storage in the kitchen, and so he built several shelves underneath the entire unit for all of my storage needs, and then I did the little curtains just to kind of hide it and make it a little bit more clean looking, and then at some point we are going to do some storage shelves here and on this wall as well.
So in the summertime we don't need to do this, but in the wintertime you have to worry about water freezing out in the barn for the chickens and the sheep, and it's usually frozen this time of year, at least in the mornings. And so we fill up buckets and keep them indoors because this is the only heated space we have on the property right now. And hopefully we remedy that by next winter. But this is just kind of water storage and then dog food storage. But usually this area is open. Well, hopefully after this winter, this area will be open and able to use it for other things. Baby, you want to come inside? Kennel. Whoop, kennel. Good girl. Good girl.
Thank you so much for joining us inside of our home. If you enjoyed this cabin tour, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe for future videos, and follow us on Instagram at Our Maine Homestead.